So the protesters in France, the female protesters, have had their puppies out again.
The puppies have been out.
So I was loving the idea of a Girls Gone Wild 2022. And basically, so what happens is they go to college campuses again and they're like, pull them out. And the girls are like, what'd you say? And then they go, they're rolling back global warming stuff.
For climate change.
Yeah.
You don't want to die, do you? You don't want everybody to die.
So essentially what happens is the Girls Gone Wild guys in 2023, they come and they all have cameras around the girls and they're like, did you not hear? They're getting rid of maternity leave. And they go, and they go, here's your protest beads. And then they give
instead of that Solomon dude, it's Greta. She's making everybody take their tops off.
So that's, in my opinion, that's what Girls Gone Wild in 2023.
France edition. And then you could probably tour that too, because you could be like, because France probably sets the tone for trends that way. We go, see, they're doing it in France.
They're doing college campuses all around the world, but they just have to go and they're like, did you not hear? Like, they're letting Trump be president again. What the hell? I'm going to protest that with the puppy.
There's some industrious students on college campuses who probably are doing that. They're like, yes. That's like the new male feminism almost, to get like doing the gender studies classes.
Yeah.
Like wolf in sheep's clothing now it's the climate change stuff.
Being like if you're a guy that's a climate change guy and you go there and you're just like always there at every single thing. You're just like, you know what? Let's show them, ladies. You're the one guy.
All right, everybody, tops off. We got to protest the climate. Everybody only hangs out with chicks.
Here's your beads. Yeah. So anyways, we like to do a feel-good titty story to get this started off.
Why not?
The boys. It's the BOYSCAST. The lads. It's the BOYSCAST. The dudes. Prepare yourself for BOYSCAST. It's the bros. It's the BOYSCAST. The homies. It's the BOYSCAST. The dudes. Experience the BOYSCAST. The BOYSCAST.
Speaking of the protesters who like the climate protesters, one thing they like to do is they go to the museums and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which is, that must bother you because you're a big museum guy.
I like a museum. Yeah.
So I went to the Whitney.
Yeah, I've never been to that one.
No idea how you're doing this.
I've never been to that one. I've been to like the MoMA, which is like, one of the top, 10 in the world.
Homo at a MoMA. But
Homo at a MoMA.
I'm telling you, I don't know. It's the most, I was
What's
thinking.
at the Whitney?
Well, there's this guy, Edward Hopper. So that's what's there right now. It's the Edward Hopper exhibit, right?
Yeah.
And there was a couple other things. The whole time I was there, my main thing was there's no way you could actually like this. So there's this guy, Edward Hopper. He was the main guy. He's got like a full floor. There's 10,000 of his things, right? And 90% of them are just he paints girls in their windows.
He's like the original.
He's the original Peeping Tom. Yeah, and this whole thing was Peeping Tom stuff, right? And it's all a commentary, right? So everybody's like,
dude, that's how dogs had to be dogs back in the day. They had to go to the store and grab an easel and paint, brushes, learn this shit.
Yeah, he's always like peeping in people's windows, and his wife's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, I'm working." And apparently, one of them was like based on his neighbor or whatever. So he's got a whole series of paintings based on like his neighbor in a window, and then one of them did good, I guess. So then he was like, "I'm the painting women in the windows."
I think one of them did good. Like you reference it like how like a reel does now.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like one of them blew up.
That is kind of what happened. Yeah. I think he got some heat on his first one. It was
people were photocopying and sharing it around.
yeah. There was a lot of people were gathering around the exhibit, looking at the girls in the window one because it had the titties out. And then this old guy, right? So they have all this paintings of him. They have like the only photos of him, and it's him sitting at his easel painting his girl in the window. And there's like, you literally just one after another. It's like girl on her bed through the window, and then like girl sort of walking around her living room through the window. Yeah. And it's like, first of all, there's 9,000 people, however many people are at the Whitney, all walking around. Everyone's wearing a turtleneck, so there's not I would say 50%.
It's like a Portlandia episode.
50% of people are wearing turtlenecks. And
I do that as well. I'll pop a neck on.
Do you do this where you go and look at it and you go,
No.
How do you look at it? What would you do when you're looking at it?
So my museum, my MO is always, I at some point early on separate from my girlfriend, so I lose her.
Why? Because
I always do it fast. Because I walk fast.
Oh,
I like to do the.
You like to speed?
I like to speed up the museums. I'm not dicking around.
got it. Got
Literally,
it.
I'm not dicking around in a museum. I'm looking around. The Whitney, I've
That's
never
even
been-
stupider.
Yeah, no, I look at the stuff I like, and I mean, sometimes I would have said for someone who doesn't go to museums and stuff, I would have been like, I would have sent you to the MoMA over the Whitney personally. I haven't been to the Whitney, but
I'm sure I would have liked them all the same. This one had 3
the
floors.
MoMA's
of
like
3
there's like
different
Van
things.
Goghs and stuff, and like really, I don't know, they're cooler.
Do you do that? You go, yes. So
I
not,
do this. This is how I go. This.
do you do the beard thing? Yeah. Do you ever? How long? What's the longest you've ever stood in front of a painting, just standing there looking at it?
That's a good question. Probably like somewhere in the
9 seconds.
No, I probably been
You
like
stood there for a full minute just staring at a painting.
Yeah, probably. Oh, but I'm like, I'd take an edible before I go in there.
Oh, so I forgot that you're baked. So you're looking at it like you're kind of getting all psychedelic with the photo.
I'm like, whoa, man. Yeah,
You did
I
this
don't
with
know.
a brush, man.
Maybe like, yeah, probably like a minute. There's certain ones because like something like a Mark Rothko or something where they're massive pieces, or like, maybe I don't know, never more than like a minute. But then my kind of favorite thing actually to do at museums is when you just totally like you're in like some famous museum and then you don't even like look at a
Fart?
piece. No, that I do actually sometimes too. That is like, I get a deranged pleasure of crop dusting all these like fucking people, these hoity-toity people who are like,
You're one of them.
I know, but I'm not.
You
though.
are
I'm
a
talking
hoity-toity guy.
But I'm talking about the people who are like wearing like, a $10,000 bag, and they're all like, and then they.
I
have
felt
to
like everyone
smell
just had a turtleneck
They have to
on.
smell a fart. some sort of deranged pleasure I derive from that, but
One.
I do like when you walk by like some artists and they have one piece and like one of the most famous, but it's like in a room full of like way bigger ones, and you're like, this is like this person's life's work, and it was the highlight of their life, and you just could be like, and just walk by.
Yeah, that's what I did. Well, no, I actually did worse than that. I was like, I looked at like 5 or 6 of them.
How many
and
beers?
I just, like,
How many beers did you sneak in?
I was kind of early for that, but so none. But I walked in, and I literally at one point I was like, "This guy stinks," and then someone heard me say that and gave me the dirtiest look you've ever seen in your life. Some old gay man with a turtleneck just looked at me like I just fucking punched a baby. And all I said, I looked at 5 of his window photos, and I just go, "This guy stinks."
Yeah.
But there's better things. So one of my favorite thing was I kept saying, it was like, I don't know if you saw in that room, there's like a crazy exhibit, like pretty actually realistic, the like college grad student, like I guess it's like a modern thing, and it's just like it would be just like a college grad student sitting on a bench. I kept saying that, like, I don't know if you've seen that, there's like a bunch of gays in a room exhibit. That's my
Dude, but I honestly, some of the stuff I like because it's so crappy. I remember I went to a museum, I think in Spain. I took a video of it. It was like, so you walk into one of those rooms, and then they always have them. You walk in a room, and there's just like a video playing on loop.
They had
Right?
a couple
Like, they
of
had
those.
that-
Actually, that was the only thing I liked, is it sitting down and watching.
Just because you can sit down.
Just sat down and
but
watched
it
the
was like
video
so, the one I went with was so crappy. Like, it was literally like a parody of art where it's like 3 women and they're all fat, and then one's like, I am a woman. I am a woman. I am and I'm like watching, I'm like, this is maybe one of the funniest things I've ever seen, like, because it's so crappy.
The whole thing's a parody, right?
Yeah. But some of it's
There
like,
was one room where there was one guy that I guess he's like famous for trinkets.
Yeah.
And it was like legitimately just any Portland market, like any little thing people would make. It was like a guy that took like some hair that fell off a brush and taped it to a pipe cleaner.
Yeah. I mean, some of it. I was in one museum, I remember, and then there was like a stick up against the wall, and I go, "Oh, there's like a stick up
ready?
against. There's a stick up against the wall." And then I like walk. I go, "Oh, that's an exhibit." And then there was like a broom up against one wall, and then I was like, "Is this art?" And you're like, "No, the janitor just left the broom up against the wall."
And there's just some
This
guy in
is
a
in Mexico-
turtleneck.
this is in
Some guy in a
Mexico
turtleneck
City.
looking at it.
At the broom, being like,
Well, everything, if you look, because they put the things beside it.
yeah.
And every second one is a commentary on consumerism.
Of course.
They love everyone. It'll be just like a soup can, and it's commentary on consumerism. There's one that was just like, the one was like, they made pillows into cigarettes, and there was like a couple cigarettes that were like made out of pillows. And then
Yeah.
that was a commentary on consumerism.
I mean,
everything's a
I
commentary
can't remember
on consumerism.
the artist's name, but my brother used to own an art gallery, and he had
Oh, yeah,
he
I
had this
forgot.
guy who had like one of his exhibits. I can't remember his name, but
The exhibit.
but he. He was pimping the rides. But he had this giant piece, and it was like all anti-capitalism, and it was like 140 grand.
Well, you remember that I told you that was one of my favorite things I did when we were like drinking, and there used to be Nuit Blanche in Toronto, and me and Waldo went, and we just picked one thing and then stood there and pretended it was our piece, and then talked to people that came in and looked at it. It was just like one of these ones that was just poster board with some pop cans glued to it, like a soup can, all that bullshit, right? And then we would go there, and then we'd be like, "Oh, what do you think?" And he was like, "Oh, it's such an excellent the way you did this," and blah blah. And then me and Waldo kept being like, "Dude, I gotta be honest with you, I just fucking got so trashed last night. I forgot I exhibit. I had to whip something up." That's what we until like we did that with like 5 or 6 people come in and take credit for the thing, and then tell them we leveled with them that like between me and you, like why would the artist even be doing that?
Not even filming it either.
No, we weren't filming it, but we were like dying. It was one of the.
Remember Tom Green?
I wish I was filming.
Tom Green at the National Art Gallery in Ottawa. He snuck in a painting and like the card, and then he put it up on the wall. I think it was Tom Green, and then someone would be like, "Oh, this is excellent," and he goes like, What do you think? Maybe like add something to it, and then he starts drawing on it, and they're like, "What are you doing?" And then he's getting chased out of the National Gallery.
Okay, so the reason I brought this whole thing up was there was one exhibit, and it was about. Okay, ready for this?
Yeah.
I'll put it on the screen too. But okay, hold on. I'm gonna show you.
Was it just like vaginas of the world?
No, this is the best exhibit I've ever. I don't need to do the reveal. So this is a exhibit where they actually, like you're talking about, where they build the actual thing.
Yeah.
All right, ready for this?
Yeah. Is it even real or fake?
It's 100%. It was an exhibit because it was basically, there was a whole floor that was about Puerto Rico, and it was a commentary on storms.
Yeah, right.
So describe it to people.
It is a pile of dirt with what I would imagine to be like fake grass. Is it like part of, because there's a painting, is that like part of that?
I think they were separate, yeah.
And sometimes museums are like confusing sometimes. You're like looking at something and then it's like part of another thing, like across the room, and I'm like,
This was probably my favorite thing of the whole thing. I was literally, I'm not kidding, I burst out laughing at this one.
But that's honestly, like, people will be like, "Oh, sure, whatever." But like, that is oftentimes some of the fun of it, is you just see these bullshit
No, I
things.
did get that.
Yeah.
That's why I went.
Yeah.
I didn't go to be wowed by the art. I went because I was like, this should be fun to make fun of.
Absolutely. And some of it, I'm like, I guess I'm a little not as like, because some of it I go like, some of this is I do like.
You're
but then
one of
some
those
of
guys,
it is hilarious.
because you're looking at these other people being like, you see those two guys, and then someone else is pointing at you. You look at this idiot.
Totally. Yeah, we're all just pointing at each other.
This guy tripping out, looking at the Van Gogh. But yeah, it was a mostly gay people, all turtlenecks.
Yeah.
And then a huge portion of people that like museums is like 55-year-old, like white women.
Yeah, it's old people.
Like CNN watchers is kind
They
of
all have the ear thing, so they can have like a guided, like, I don't know if you saw that.
What?
Yeah, you can rent these like phones sometimes, or it's like an earpiece, and then you can just listen to
I guess that's not that
a
stupid.
tour guide. But again, the explanation was like, this person was inspired by this in 1938. The war was breaking out, and they had to flee to New York City from Amsterdam.
And the only thing, while they were fleeing, they had to run through dirt, and she managed to take a little bit of that dirt, and then
but then the whole it's not even a painting. I've seen this. It's probably
that is such a perfect example. It'd be like just a shoe with dirt on it,
Sure.
and then in the corner of the room, and it was like, this represents the woman who had to flee in the forest.
Of course, yeah. And then you go, okay. I don't really care for this, but
I'll tell you what, I don't trust anyone who says they get it.
Yeah. I mean, again, I don't ever look into art at all. Like, I'm never like, oh, what's the meaning behind it?
You don't read the thing?
No, very rarely will I read the thing. Very, very rarely.
So
rarely.
It's either consumerism or over consumption, which are kind of in the same vein, or like something about America being bad. Like,
yeah, I mean, sometimes I can't remember the in Paris though, not the Louvre, but the other one with the clock in it or whatever. They have like a whole room of like Van Gogh. It's just kind of cool. I don't know.
I get that. Well, that I get where you're like, it's cool that I guess this is worth $10 trillion or whatever.
Yeah, but they're just like iconic, and they're there's so many of them.
This is what all the hype's about.
Kind of, because you go to something having like the MoMA, and then they have one, right? And the crazy thing is you don't even realize, because the MoMA, their big thing is Starry Night. That's like this famous Van Gogh painting.
I think I know Starry Night.
But you're like, it's not even like the only one of them, because I went, it was in Paris, and we're like, they have one here too.
So he was just cranking out Starry Nights?
Yeah, because like a lot of times it's like
that must be like the biggest scheme ever, though. That's like an NFT scheme, though. But imagine, an artist goes, "I'm selling a Starry Night for $1 million," then the next day he's like, "I'm making 5 more." You'd be like, "Wait, what?"
Dude, Damien Hirst, who's like the famous guy, he did like the shark. You know, the shark that he sold for like $50 million, and it's like this shark that's like suspended, a giant shark, and they did like a pill box that was like $20 million. He has like a factory, and so basically he's like the manager, right? And
this is crazy.
And he goes, so he approves everything, and he's like one who designs, essentially like a fashion designer. He designs everything, and then they're cranking them out for him.
So he's just about a bunch of people working for $10 an hour, just making.
I don't know about $10
paintings.
an hour, but Warhol's like same thing. Like they're Warhol. There's like he wasn't.
He's just got guys cranking out pop can and soup.
He signs them.
Soup can photos,
but he like designs them and he signs them, but he doesn't actually produce them.
Well, you think those wouldn't be worth as much if he didn't make them?
Well, they probably at the time you could get them cheaply, but now they're just the art market is what it is, I suppose.
Or rip off. Do you think one thing that I was loving the idea of is thinking that. Because that's who people, I guess you would describe as who's at an art thing, is like almost a Karen. But,
sure.
But I guess that's what you would describe, right?
Yeah. You're probably bringing the Karen out of some of them. I imagine you kicking around there, being like, gay! And then like, can we get him out of here, please?
They definitely want me out of here. That's what I was saying. I was talking about on stage being like, the next level of not racist is when you're just like, you don't want to be racist, but like that level of racism when you're like, I can't call the cops even though I was robbed because, heaven forbid that's a minority and their life might be hard. And it was like, that's the final boss of not racist where you're getting robbed. And you're like, good. But I was like,
I deserve this.
Yeah. I would go full Karen. I'm like, if I'm getting robbed, I'm calling the cops and reminding them that I pay their salary. But I was saying that, do you think that all of the Karen stuff, probably not, but it would be a crazy conspiracy if all of the Karen stuff was originated by like the big restaurant chains got together and like made this go viral? Yeah, like they basically said, like the girl, like if you find out the big original dog park Karen or whatever, that was like the wife of the guy who runs like Jimmy John's, and they were just like, complaining's been getting out of control. So they basically, they hatched this plan that anyone who complains is essentially branded as a racist.
Sure. Maybe Papa John's actually secretly financed that Karen movie that was a piece of shit.
I'm thinking.
He got in the N-word trouble and he's trying to like just bring it all back around.
Imagine though.
Yeah.
That would be like, it would almost
be diabolical.
It would be so crazy that it just might be true. But yeah, like if you think about it, there must be a correlation between the Karen meme and women complaining to the manager at Walmart. That had to have gone down, right? Mm-hmm. So imagine all of the biggest corporations are just like, they wanted to fire some of their customer service staff was getting bloated, and they were just like, we need a way that people are complaining too much, and they basically made it racist to complain.
I mean, they're
clever. Short on managers. They're like, we need to make it racist. How can we?
Yeah. That's I could see that. I don't know if a Walmart. I can see an Amazon getting behind that though.
Something
somewhere in an Amazon boardroom on the top of a mountain, just like.
Well, anyway, maybe something was. I was loving the idea that that's my conspiracy. I was also loving the idea of it, like saying a conspiracy show. There was but like conspiracies that like safe conspiracies, like you're into conspiracies, but ones that won't get you in trouble. It's like, here's a list of conspiracies you can be into. It's like hey, we're talking about Bigfoot and the Loch Ness Monster.
Totally.
And then, but like, if you talk about any of the other ones, like aliens, like you can talk about that.
Pretty much. There's like chemtrails, and there's like 5.
There's like anyone that involves the government, you basically, those are the over the last little while where they made conspiracies like you're the worst if you are into conspiracies. Mm-hmm. Essentially, it's anyone that the government's involved with. You're like, hey, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of what it is, right? Unless the alien one, that's the only one.
The alien one, yeah. There's like, I always say there's always like the fun ones, and then there's like this, but like Trump kind of made all conspiracies life or death seriousness.
Actually, speaking of aliens, there is a pretty good, this is, the Vice has an old school Vice article. but it's alien related, and there isn't that much to it. But there's this guy. This is Vice going back to his roots.
Vice is back to cranking out the fucking goods.
This man has sex with aliens. He goes, when I was 17, I lost my virginity to a female extraterrestrial, says 74-year-old David Huggins. And that's all I can say about that. He can't say anything more about it.
Yeah.
And it's this guy, and he paints photos of it. And there's this whole story about how he paints photos, but it just reeks of the guy that this is the final boss of guy that had girlfriend at a different school.
Yeah. I mean, also, you just had a weird dream in 1961, and like that's your identity.
That's his whole deal. Hasn't let it go. So, and Vice is sort of promoting this guy, being like, buy his paintings. After all he's been through. Basically, his mom comes in. He was jacking off, and he was like, "No, I wasn't, Mom. My girlfriend was here. You don't understand."
I mean, he has a photo. He paints if you slide over to the end, there is a photo of the woman or extraterrestrial female. And it has a female's it just looks like a kind of busted chick.
Yeah.
Like he's just like it has breasts and a vagina.
Well, could have been
Like,
it could have been like some like old lady that like his mom's friend or whatever. There was like a creep.
Yeah.
And comes in and he was like, "I'm from a different planet."
Sure, but it's just like she just looks like she has bad makeup.
Yes.
Like that could be just bad makeup chick.
Bad makeup chick.
Like
yeah.
unless he's saying she was 9 feet tall or something.
I mean, we've all woke up and said maybe that was an alien.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what.
Dude,
that was
I
some kind of
fucked
creature.
ET.
I'll tell you what. Some time a creature last night was it a human? Barely. At the very least, it was barely human.
Yeah, we'll have to wait for the DNA samples to come back.
So Rick and Morty, the big news is that I didn't realize that the guy who got fired, and I guess it's for apparently he beat up his wife. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, but he has like actual charges and stuff against him. Like it's not even like this isn't even like he said she said. Like I think there's like actually pretty serious charges against him.
But what I didn't realize is he was all the voices.
Yeah.
I thought it was just the executive producer and he's just going to keep collecting his check or whatever.
No.
So that means they're doing it without.
Yeah.
And with the crazy part that I read, and I don't know if I can corroborate this, but apparently Michael Richards is going to do the voice of both Rick and Morty. Oh, I'm Morty.
Oh, I'm Morty. I'm Morty, Rick.
Oh, I'm Rick, Morty. So that could be an option. Maybe Kevin Spacey comes back and does Rick.
Yeah.
How does Kevin Spacey talk? Well, it's me, Rick.
That's actually not bad.
Is that not bad?
That's not terrible.
Oh, well, Morty, I'll tell you. It's about time that we go to outer space.
Not a terrible space.
Okay, so that's an option.
Yeah.
Maybe Jerry Seinfeld's a Rick.
I wonder if there's any sort of AI solution.
What's the deal with me being
What's
Rick?
the deal with space?
What's the deal with me being
I'm
Rick
a pickle
and Morty?
now. I'm a pickle. What is the deal with me being a pickle?
So those are some options.
Yeah, that's
Y'all know I motherfucking be Rick and I be motherfucking Morty.
It's so funny because
Chef.
that is such a giant franchise. Like it's literally like $1 billion IP.
Whoa.
Like the IP is worth so much that they're like, well,
I didn't realize
you
that.
can't walk away from it. Really? You don't see like all the people just walking around with Rick and
I know
Morty
it's a big
clothes
deal. I don't
all
know
the time?
I don't know how much cartoon franchises are worth.
That is the gem of like the crown jewel of Adult Swim.
Okay,
Rick and Morty.
who else could play the voice?
I'm sure I saw someone on Twitter that I think a lot of people like there's voice actors.
Lena Dunham.
I think they're gonna.
I'm Rick.
I think no, because she said didn't she molest her sister or something?
No, that didn't stick with her.
Oh.
That was the peak era where like they
they're
could
like,
still get away with it as long as you're a feminist.
Yeah. Yeah, she's never had to pay the toll for that.
She was able to get away with it. It was sort of fine. Okay, so this one, speaking of aliens that are creeps coming in and making out, yeah, that's the other one. Your chick's like, "What'd you do last night? Who was this?" Like, who stuff? And you go, "Honestly, you're never gonna believe this."
Yeah, you are not gonna believe this. He goes, "Wait, and the alien
Sit
has your
down.
phone number and is texting you?"
I know, right?
It's so crazy.
So crazy. The alien's fucking written in my phone as Pizza Hut. Aliens. They're a different world. I'm not going to try to explain it, but
yeah, you're like, I've been in touch with
I'm
that
the victim
with the
here.
ancient aliens guy. I'm trying to go on there just to legitimize this whole thing.
I'm a victim here. Well, there's this guy basically, so he's dating this 23-year-old woman, but she has an 8-year-old woman's body, right?
Yeah, this is a tough one.
And you've seen the photo, right?
Yeah.
So
I think, did we cover it the first time that she was in the news?
I don't remember.
Because I remember seeing the initial story, and then I guess she got a reality show out of it.
So she's a big star now, and this guy, everyone's calling him a creep, and that is the big question, in your opinion, creep or not a creep? So he's got a girlfriend, she's 23 years old, but she's got the body of an 8-year-old.
Yeah, but it's an actual disability.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, it is a pedophile's wet dream.
For sure.
But this is what you have to, there's a lot to it. You have to sort of, I think the thing is everyone jumps to conclusion with creeps. I think it's both are possible, and you have to probably go, the devil's in the details
Sure.
in this one,
I mean, the
probably.
question is he a pedophile who
That's a big question.
who is now basically found a legal loophole?
Uh-huh.
Or
living the dream.
Or is he just, because again, like if a woman is, say, there are women who are the same height as her, like dwarfs, for example, who nobody would ever say you're a pedophile because they have dwarfism.
Exactly.
Right? Or they're like whatever, little people, right? They which are, different things. But again, so height, so it's not about the height. It's about the fact that she does have the body of a child.
And this guy is very much coming out, sort of very aggressively with it too, which isn't helping.
He's like, you should all be ashamed of yourselves.
Right. Whereas
she's got a disability.
You almost have to be like, yeah, I know it's a little weird, but I don't see her like that. You almost have to play it a little like that. Whereas he's like, if they want to smash this hot piece of ass, it's none of anyone's business. You don't know what it's like when I'm spinning her around. Like, he's very happy about it, right?
Yeah. It's.
So I would say this, if I was to, because I think the entire internet is sort of, he's a creep, right? So I think the consensus is he's a creep. And obviously the problem with that is like, so what? This girl can just never date anyone?
Exactly. So she can never date anybody other than children. Yeah, basically she has to be a pedophile.
Well, that's what it is. It's like, so she can just never date anyone?
But also, if you are attracted to that, then well,
here's the second part that I'll say. First of all, maybe some people aren't attracted to their girlfriends, but there is the other part where I will say with Andy Milonakis, for example, right?
Yeah.
I remember when Andy Milonakis first came out and he had his TV show and he looked like a kid, right? Mm. And that's what he was like 30 at the time and he looks like a 12-year-old or whatever, right? Which I remember at the time being probably 17 or something like that. And, I was trying to do funny stuff too. And I remember seeing that and being like, this is the funniest person that ever lived. Like the fact that a 12-year-old, however old I was like, the fact that a 12-year-old's like this funny. Yeah. I was like, everyone should quit comedy. That's crazy how funny this kid is, right? Yeah. And then I found out he was 30 and I was like, oh, still funny, but I'm not impressed like that anymore.
Right,
you know what I mean? Right. Obviously that was the thing.
But again, he probably was smashing, right? So what about those women?
And then on top of that, my more point was I'd say, I remember now when I see him, I don't think of him as a child. Does that make sense? If he was your buddy, you don't look at him and see a child's body. You kind of look at him and see an adult's body.
But he does look older now.
But she has a few things where there is maybe, if you were hung out with this person for 2 years, if this person you knew them for a long time, I could see you stop seeing them as a kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's my point. But this guy, this is where I was saying, so if I saw that, it was like, oh, we've known each other for 12 years. When I see them, I see them as a fucking 30-year-old. I don't see them like that, right?
Yeah.
I could see that.
Sure.
But on the other side of it, he didn't, that's not what happened.
No, he saw her on a show.
He slid into her DMs.
Yeah, and sent her flowers.
So that's where it starts to get, if I could see a scenario where you're like, yeah, obviously, I've known, and when I look at this person, I don't see them like that. The way that I used to see Andy Milonakis like a kid, and now I don't, and he still looks like a kid.
Right.
My brain has switched that somehow, right? So, but if you knew the person for a long time, but for this guy, he goes, I just saw her on the TV show, and I was like, she's such a dime, I gotta hit it. That's one in the bad category.
Knowing that she's 3'10" and 50 pounds.
Sliding in the DMs, I feel like is problematic a little bit, right?
Again, I don't know. Yeah, I would never do that, but
to me, how they meet's a big part of it.
It is I understand the case. There's both definitely.
I'll tell you what, I'd rather do. What would you rather do if you had to pick? 80-year-old that looks 7 or 7-year-old that looks 80?
tough one. No, I mean the 80-year-old that looks 7.
You'd have to. You have to
no
do this
question.
80-year-old to look 7. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be.
But it is sort of a Sophie's choice.
I mean, one of those will get you, lit up on the internet, and the other one will make you a sex offender. So I think it's a pretty easy.
You
choice.
probably have to get lit up on the internet.
You have to take the getting lit up on the internet. But yeah, this dude, and he's not even from America. Like, he had to fly over the ocean. He's from Wales or some shit.
That's where it's getting a little like you. It seems like if you're just like, I don't know, yeah, we've just known each other for a long time. It just happened. It's another thing to be in like, or just like pursued her aggressively,
like family
flew
friend.
across the-
Like if you go a family friend, I've known her for a long time. That is, I think you could be like, yeah, that's less creepy for sure.
I think that
You're right
knowing
there.
them for a bit, probably, yeah.
Just seeing a photo of her and go,
Just,
oh,
oh, my
daddy
God.
likey. And you go, ooh.
This guy was a little too eager with it, you know?
Sure.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess the real shady thing, and well, I guess we'll
50 pounds too.
TBD. I know 3 foot.
This guy's
10
probably got a
is
tiny
if she,
peen,
is
right?
if she starts an OnlyFans or something, and then what that looks like.
No, I tell you what it would look like. It will look like everyone being like, as if, and the numbers being really high.
Oh, of course. Like, she'll probably do better than fucking the Cash Me Outside girl. And
That's
people are like, ugh.
That is exactly what it is. Everyone publicly will be like, can you believe this? And you go, I don't know, she just made 80 mil.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, that is the solution to pedophiles.
Is what?
More of her.
I mean, it was a pretty unique set of circumstances together. She had brain cancer when she was 6 months old, and they had to do some crazy surgery.
So that's maybe not the solution.
No.
But maybe her having an OnlyFans could be the at least keep them occupied.
Keep them occupied. Keep them busy. Yeah, I don't know. It's a fucking... Because, you have to at least put yourself in her shoes where you're like, again, like you said, like, what is she supposed to do?
Well, also it's funny too. Like,
I guess it'd be like
obviously
only
the
date
thing
an
is for
18-year-old.
The thing is because she's like pedophile, right? But like, if you don't look at it through that lens, it's her with her boyfriend, and everyone's being like, "That's gross that you would do that." Like, just calling her gross.
Yeah.
You're like, "Ew! Why would you have sex with her? Ew! That's disgusting, bro." And she's like, "I'm right here."
Yeah, I'm right here, and I'm 23 years old.
No, I'm not saying because your looks. I'm saying just that you're too young looking. It's like, ew, dude, gross.
Man, imagine the ultimate twist where she gets busted for having sex with like an underage guy.
Oh man,
She
that would
gets
be
with a
the-
15-year-old, and she's like, "You kind of forced me to do this.
You forced my hand.
And then they're like, "Yeah, well, you're not allowed to
I don't
do
think
that
people would
either."
care about that. I think people
Well,
care
the
about
law
this.
would care.
I think, yeah, I guess the law would have to care.
The
But
law would have a word with her.
people would care way less though if she banged like a 16-year-old dude
Yeah,
or whatever
of
the
course.
age is. Well, and they're famous too, right? Which helps.
Yeah, she got a little TV show.
Reached out after watching her. He said he was inspired by her emotional strength. So I don't buy that. That's where I'm like, okay, that didn't happen. No guy's ever been like watching a show and you're just like, man, this girl's so inspiring to me.
Sure.
I'm reaching out with no alternative, like want to smash
because
motives.
there is no shortage of inspiring shows of women with disabilities.
He didn't reach out to the
reach out to
1,000-pound sisters.
He didn't reach out to any of them. He didn't reach out to the dwarves, the little people, nothing.
He didn't.
He specifically reached out to the
Unless
girl
you
who
find
looks
out
like
he
a
did, like
child.
that's his. You know what it is possible. The truth is, like the balls on this guy to be like reaching out to like celebrities and just trying to smash or whatever. He's like, yeah, I mean, I reached out to legitimately every girl on every reality show. This is the first one
Yeah,
that
I
ever
know.
responded. Like, it's possible. He's like, listen, I reached out to fucking Selena Gomez when she had her TV show too. It's like, I reached out to Paris Hilton when she had the Hilton show. It's like, I got to be honest with you. The Kardashians haven't been getting back to me. This is the first response I got to my numerous DMs I sent.
She does look kind of sickly too. I mean, she is.
Yeah, I can't be in greatest health. But
No, but then there's the funny because there's the thing of her smoking.
he then sent her flowers and a card saying, go live your best life, wishing you all the happiness you deserve. You don't send someone flowers and then, unless you're up to something.
Flowers is insane. Like, did you send them flowers to those 1,000-pound chicks?
So the people are saying this, and then his whole thing is you're dehumanizing her, and that's absolutely disgusting. So he's sort of saying he's not disgusting, you're disgusting.
Yeah, he goes, yeah, you think I'm disgusting? Have a look in this mirror.
So I feel
The
like
only disgusting people are looking in this mirror right now.
He's sort of taunting the police a little bit.
I mean, you got to be, if you're crazy, I hope he's fucking squeaky clean.
He's basically, you know what I mean? You're sort of taunting the police, like you're standing in front of the police station with her, just like grabbing her tit, being like, is this a problem?
I mean, I'm sure someone's looking into him somewhere. Someone is probably given at a police station somewhere in Wales has just given a cursory look into his background.
You're right. This guy does have to be squeaky clean to pull this off.
Yeah.
She's a human being. She deserves to have a relationship. So I do agree with that part of it.
The end of it says it's unclear where the relationship even stands now. So
you just have to be like, listen, I thought it was kind of weird, like, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's like, it is what it is. I don't see her like that. I understand you do. That's probably the only thing.
Yeah, you have to straight up just be like, you're all fucked up. What are you talking about? Like, she's disabled.
Imagine he came out and he was just like, listen, I just want to say, I know what you guys are thinking, but you're not weighing that against how big it makes my dick look.
It's kind of a...
And then everything about it does feel like he's taunting, because he goes like this. He goes, the pair spent their first day together in an aquarium and then an escape room, and we're joined by her 18-year-old sister, Riley. And it does feel like a little bit like, you know, then we went to the amusement park and then the escape room and then the ball pit. Like, it's sort of feeling like, you know what I mean? You want to be like, we went to a bar.
People would still be like, oh, you went to a bar? How many drinks does it take for a 50-pound girl to get totally incapacitated?
You're right. This guy's out of options.
This is a zero-win.
Fancy restaurant.
Zero-win scenario. Yeah, doesn't matter. Zero-win.
No, I know. I'm just saying, though.
And he's like trying to get on the show. Like, part of it is like a bunch of the stuff they did was for the show. Mm-hmm. So then you're like, are you trying to just be famous?
Yeah, obviously it's
horrible way to do
it is what
that.
it is. Yeah. But so wish him the best of luck. Danny just slid into her DM, so if it doesn't work out, just if we happen to both
I slid into her DMs just saying you're so inspiring.
That is, yeah.
Such inspiration.
I do that all the time. Like, I don't even respond back. I go, no need to respond. And if they respond back, I just don't respond. I just say, listen, you're an inspiration. Anyone who tells you otherwise, you fucking go, girl.
Yeah.
You are living your best life. Also, I mailed you some flowers and chocolates. But do not respond to this. I want you to.
Oh, did I put my return address on there? Weird.
Oh, shit.
It's like the post office kind of makes you, though. Like, if you try and go mail something without a return address, they're kind of sticklers.
They're sticklers
about it.
I'm going to take a quick second here to tell the fellas about Nutrafol. If you don't know what this is, some people think, you go, listen, I want to have a head of hair, or I want to have my health. I want to be healthy, or better hair growth. Which is it? People are choosing, oh, it's one of the two. Well, what if we told you you didn't have to choose? That there's a holistic solution for men that promotes both healthier hair and whole body wellness. So you can get ahead of thinning hair with Nutrafol's whole body approach to hair growth. No drugs, no compromises. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement, clinically shown to improve your hair growth, thickness, and visible scalp coverage. That's a pretty big recommendation here. Being #1, Nutrafol's hair growth nutraceuticals go beyond genetics to multi-target the root causes of thinning, including stress, hormones, nutrition, metabolism, aging, and lifestyle through whole body health. The whole package, physician formulated using natural medical grade ingredients. Nutrafol's drug-free patented technology provides consistent, reliable results without compromising your sexual health. So there you go.
Yeah.
You're gonna wanna.
You'd be stupid not to.
Yeah. Sexual health is intact.
It's intact.
In a clinical study, men showed progressive improvement in hair growth and thickness after 3 and 6 months. Nutrafol is a trusted and recommended by more than 3,000 top doctors. So you want to get that thick, healthy hair and support our show by going to Nutrafol.com/men, Nutrafol.com/men, and entering the promo code BOYSCAST to save $15 off to your first month's subscription. This is the best offer anywhere, and it's only available to U.S. customers for a limited time. Plus, free shipping on every order. Get $15 off Nutrafol.com/men, spelled Nutrafol.com/men, promo code BOYSCAST. Also, we got to tell you about Butcher Box. You already know what it is. We've been telling you about Butcher Box. Everyone knows when you're at the grocery store and you see a hot deal on some meat, especially when it's some good deals on some premium meat. But you're at the grocery store, you're searching for meat, and you're having a hard time. You're looking, you're doing all this stuff, juggling them, rolling them down the aisle as a Jerry Seinfeld joke. You don't know what you're doing. Butcher Box takes the guesswork out of that, out of finding high-quality meat and seafood you can trust with 100% grass-fed beef, free-range organic chicken, pork-raised, crate-free, wild-caught seafood, humanely raised, no antibiotics, no added hormones. You get just what you want delivered right to your doorstep. Free shipping for the continental U.S. and no surprise fees. So you can choose between a variety of box plan options from curated to customized and change your plan whenever you want. So you can enjoy a high quality cuts that are hard to come by at the grocery store and an amazing value. Exclusive member deals so you can save big on your favorite cuts. Recipe inspiration, guides, tips, hacks so you can cook up mouth-watering meals. Get it here. We've been telling you, I'm a Butcher Box guy. I got my family on Butcher Box.
Getting hungry, actually. Just
love the box. I actually am a little hungry.
Discussing the box.
Tell you about that as well. It helps you save money. My favorite part is the convenience. It comes right to your door. You don't have to think about whether it's good. What are the cuts like? They do all that for you. Butcher Box is a special offer running right now for our listeners, and use the code BOYSCAST to get $20 off your first box. Sign up at butcherbox.com/BOYSCAST and use the code BOYSCAST to get $20 off. Yeah.
Speaking about women living their best lives, actually, we didn't have it on the docket, but the Prime Minister of New Zealand has just had enough.
Yeah.
Pretty wild.
I feel like this keeps happening.
Pretty wild, though. I've never seen a leader of a country just being like, I guess I'm good. Like, no scandal. I mean, everybody like dislikes her for the most part 'cause she's a bit of a tyrant, but she's just like, yeah, I'm good. Just
How long did she put in?
I think like she only got in right before COVID. Like she's like 4 years or something.
Yeah, that is pretty nuts.
She's just like, I'm done. Anyway, shout out to the Queen of New Zealand.
No Prime Minister has ever done that, though. Yeah, you're
right.
No,
I mean, they have to be taken out of office in cuffs or like dragging, like dragged out of there. And she's just like, yeah.
Good while it lasted. I proved I could do it. Yeah, top of the mountain. Yeah, that is like...
It's pretty wild.
That is like a step back for... Has any guy ever done that?
No.
There's been a few girls that have only had like crazy short terms, I feel like.
Yeah, because they got voted out.
No, wasn't there another kind of this scenario before?
Where a woman straight up just walked away?
I don't know, only had like a few months and she had like a vote
Elizabeth May.
But you don't have to leave with your non-confidence votes, I feel like.
You do, because like you just, again, you can't
form a government.
You can't govern. Like it's just like, it's understood that if you don't, like you walk away, and then Kim Campbell in Canada in like the 90s for whatever couple weeks, but she's just straight up like, yeah,
it is so funny looking at Canada's prime ministers, because you're like, guy 8 years, guy 12 years, guy 8 years, guy 6 years, woman 2 months, guy 8 years. That's wild.
Weird. It's wild.
And it is like girls are
unelected too.
I know. And it's like, you had your turn. Like, what do you mean? You guys had your turn. Those 2 months in 1981. Okay, speaking of wacky girls, this is one of them, probably the best we've had in a while.
Yeah.
So this girl, she's got multiple systems, most of which are birds.
This is
so we always talk
such
about
a good video.
We always do this, and what are they? They're what would it be called when they have multiple personalities?
She referred to it as just DID, which is like a dissociative disorder.
Yeah, and so the funny part about this video is how someone said to her like, "This doesn't make any sense. This is dumb," or something like that, and she is not happy about that.
Like basically, she admits she's super crazy, but like the way she's talking about it is like She's like, yeah, this is so normal. Like, what don't you get?
I have a few systems, and a couple of them are birds. I'm two birds. I don't know what you're not
What
getting about
don't
it.
you understand? Sometimes I need to fly away because I'm a bird. What don't you understand?
Well, I don't know why you're having trouble with the fact that I'm two birds living in a fucking human's body, and there's 9 other birds in here as well. So I'm basically a bird cage.
Yeah, like, what are you, fucking dumb, bud? Like, what is going on here?
So that's the gist of it. Okay, we'll start it here.
Hi, my name is Cameron, and I'm a member of a DID system. And people are still going on about this, so I'm going to try and...
That's what it
Like,
is. It's
just the attitude. She goes, people are still going on about this, so I guess you're fucking stupid.
Yeah.
So let me just explain this to you.
I guess, yeah, if you don't know, no one has a brain on this fucking TikTok app, I guess I can explain to you what it looks like for the 5th time when 2 birds are living in a human body.
myself as simply as possible for you.
She's going to dumb it down
Yeah,
for
he's
you.
I am
Now
an
you-
alter in a dissociative identity disorder system. Alters in DID systems can literally be anything, even inanimate objects. So having
Inanimate object's pretty good. She's a couple birds. They got a comb in there. Also, some.
One of them's a door stopper. You know, sometimes you need a door kept open.
How
I
can
don't
they be
know.
inanimate objects? Maybe just like you're just hanging out with someone, all of a sudden you freeze.
That's like Rick
She's
and
like,
Morty.
"What's that?" It's like, "Yeah, I'm a block of cheese right now." What are you doing? I'm a comb at the moment.
I'm a baseball.
Yeah.
Anybody want to play catch? Not with me. Just use me for the catch.
What are you doing right now? I'm a headphone jack. I don't know if you're having trouble understanding that sometimes I'm a carton of milk. It's like fucking. Honestly, it's
What
bad.
don't you get?
What don't you get? I'm 2 birds that are living in a human's body, and then also sometimes I'm a carton of milk. It's pretty.
an alter who's not a human is honestly a very, very common experience.
Very.
Now, there are 2 of us in our
Very
system who
common.
are birds, and we both have 2 separate forms in our world. We have our bird form. I'm a cardinal. Avery is a blue jay. And we also
Okay, so we have cardinal and a
I'm
blue
already
jay.
lost. Is there like they have 2
That's why
birds
she had to make
inside
this
of them?
fucking. That's why she's speaking
'Cause
slow
fucking-
for you.
Fucking idiots like me.
I'm gonna
Does she have
tell
2
you
birds
again.
inside of her?
Yeah, so she got 2 birds, a cardinal and a blue jay.
But she goes, I'm a cardinal.
She's the cardinal.
So she has 2 systems.
Well, she has a cardinal, and the blue jay's living inside of her. She's like the blue jay's always sucking dicking around in there.
Yeah. Do you think she'll ever go to see the Toronto Blue Jays play the St. Louis Cardinals? Like, is that like, and then one of her is wearing she wears the half hat, like when parents have like 2 players playing against each other, like 2 sons, and then they wear like the halfy jerseys.
Yeah, talking to the players. Yeah, blue jay to blue jay. Listen. Or I bet you she wouldn't like it that like she's not a logo. I'm a
Yeah, sure.
I'm a-
She goes, they're appropriating her culture. Or her.
Yeah, she's really dumbing it down for her. So her pronouns are I am, but they all have different pronouns. So
Her pronouns are I am, like,
and we
EM?
also have a human form, like a hybrid form. I'm 2 birds, 2 birds, 1 bod. I don't really.
have a human avian like hybrid form, which is a human form with our bird wings, basically. So when we front this body, like I am in control of this body right now, I am in my humanoid form inner world, and I am fully aware, as is Avery, that we live in a human body.
So they're not happy about the human body.
You know what I like to picture is that she's saying this after her boss just told her that her break was too long. Goes, no, your break was supposed to be an hour. You've been gone for like almost 2 hours. What's going on?
She goes, Jim, am I gonna have to do this again?
She goes, Jim, I don't know what you don't get. I'm 2 birds, so I need 2 full breaks. That's why I was gone for almost 2 hours.
Yes, the blue jay took 15 minutes. Yes, Jim, the blue jay took 15 minutes. The cardinal took 15 minutes, and then my humanoid form. So then my human form needed a break, Jim.
You're the boss. You're like, ah.
Another mental health day. This one's not for me. Caw! Yeah, that's what, like, are you having another smoke? Caw!
She goes, no, I'm eating worms, Jim.
Hey, who put worms in the fridge?
He goes, hey, you going fishing later? She goes, what?
What? Oh, yeah?
Is that some kind of sick fucking joke?
Hey, did someone put a bunch of worms on top of the lunch table? Jim, I guess I'll start from scratch. I'm two birds living in a human. She goes, but you're a human body. She goes, am I talking? Are you fucking dumb, bud? Are you dumb? Are you stupid?
Oh my god.
Are you dumb? Are you dumb or deaf or retarded or all three? I don't know which it is, Jim.
Which one is it? He goes, I'm sorry. Take however long you need.
Anyways, I'm out of here.
Just crashes through the window.
So basically, they were like, one of the critiques is like, yeah, but you're like a human, and she was like, yeah, and I'm not happy about that. Obviously, thanks for bringing it up. She goes, yes, you don't think that I know that I'm in a human body, and I'm not particularly loving that. Yeah. It's like, you think that trans people don't like to be in the wrong body? I'm two birds living in this fucking dumb human's body. So she's
good stuff. This is
she's like, I'm not
A+.
She goes, I'm not. I know, because that's a lot of people are sort of saying like, well, you're not a bird, and she was like, yeah, that is correct. My body is not a bird's body.
Like she just reached the end of her rope with all this. Like she just absolutely had enough.
This must be very like annoying to have to explain to people every day, all day long.
I mean, the thing is, like,
she's constantly being triggered.
Like up until 10 years ago, like there were for sure people who thought they were birds. They either were institutionalized or just kept it to themselves.
Now they get a TikTok channel.
Yeah, now they're like, hey, everybody, so you know I'm two birds.
Yeah. Before they'd be like, are you two birds? And you go, no.
No. And then there's like a worm. And he goes, I don't know. You've been eyeing that worm right there.
Hey, go get it if you want it. I don't.
I don't.
You're just trying your hardest not to get the worm. I actually don't want
Do you think she eats worms? Or
That's a perfect good question. And
That's not one of their pronouns.
I bet that she doesn't. And that's like a bit of a loophole. It's like, why do you eat human food? And she would, I guess she would argue that she doesn't, because she has this stupid human body.
Right. And she's like, if birds could cook, they wouldn't eat worms. That's just all they can get.
I think so. Yeah, maybe.
We don't think we are literal birds who can fly, okay? We're not stupid. The brain is just very creative when it comes to making new alters. Now, I specifically am a bird because I am Avery's caregiver, and Avery is a bird. Avery split as a bird because our flight response.
Maybe she could be the new Rick and Morty. She kind of seems like a Rick and Morty episode, what she's saying right
That
now.
is an episode. Yeah, that's for sure.
Rick's brain becomes a bird and then splits into another caregiver bird, which is now Morty. So Morty is a bird that's taking care of Rick, and one's a cardinal, one's a blue jay, obviously. And then they have to get back to fucking just reality.
Well, but the funniest part about that is she's basically saying like the bird she was like, I had a bird inside my body, and that bird was having so much anxiety that another bird came to take care of the first bird. And she was like, why do you need two birds? It's like, well, yeah, obviously one bird to take care of the other bird. And then they're like, well, who takes care of the other bird? And she's like, fuck. That's actually, you actually kind of do have a point there.
If I worked with her,
we got a third bird.
People pranking her at work. She gets to her cubicle. There's just like newspaper all over the floor. She goes, who put the newspaper? And you go, that's what you do.
Don't you do that? You're a bird.
Yeah, you're a bird. You got to put newspaper down. You don't want to fucking shit all over the floor. She goes, I'm not actually a bird. I'm just I'm not a literal bird. I'm in my brain. There's two
birds in my brain.
I do at least like
do you
that
think any
blames
guys
the
ever
brain.
said like, yeah, I got a bird too, and pulled that up? He goes, yeah, you know what? My bird's on the outside of my body.
Yeah, and then
you know
goes,
what? I got a
like
bird too.
worm.
Mine.
He goes, you're a worm, and you're a bird. I got a worm.
A worm.
Hungry?
You hungry? But she's had to explain this to everyone. Like,
Yeah, she's got it down pat.
yeah,
I do like that she blames her brain, though. She does just go like, it's my brain.
yeah, my brain.
Sometimes they
I
don't.
know.
Sometimes they go like, this is who I am. At least she's...
But it's like, she's so sane, it doesn't make sense. She's like, but that's what I get with all the feeling like stuff, because she's like, yes, I have some birds in my body, and I feel like a bird sometimes. You go, what is that? It feels like she listened to that Nelly Furtado song.
Yeah. She's on loop.
I don't know where my home is. I don't know. She has that every day playing in her fucking ear.
I'm like... Yeah, she has to.
Yeah, that's what she says to the boss.
Freebird,
Like,
that and Freebird just on loop.
how does Freebird go again?
find me a free bird. And it's like a fucking 10-minute solo.
Yeah, but what part is it about being a bird?
I don't know. It's called Free Bird.
I can't remember the chorus.
If I leave here tomorrow.
Because he's flying away.
Yeah, it's all about a free bird.
We're triggered in a situation that we could not escape. We wanted to get away. We wanted to fly out of there, and we couldn't. So the brain made somebody.
So if she's ever triggered, one of the problems with the human bodies is both of the birds want to fly away and they're not able to, which is sort of problematic.
Humans don't have the gift of flight.
No.
Could you just like buy a plane ticket?
That's what she has to do, yeah.
Or like air gliding?
Doesn't probably have the same, anytime she's triggered, she has to go to like JetBlue and buy a flight.
So the brain made somebody who could. Avery is a bird because we felt trapped and we could not escape from the situation that we were in. Avery is also a trauma holder and persecutor and holds extreme.
One of the birds is pretty anxious. That's probably enough of bird stuff, but
the fact that it keeps going on.
Oh, it goes on and on.
And she has so much attitude about it.
That's why it was so funny.
Because normally they're very fragile and they're trying to like explain it and they're like it's
like
an affliction.
I think what happens is they're used to their tiny little community, so everything's so normal. And then when someone from outside the community, they have the attitude of kind of like if someone showed up to like Dungeons and Dragons night and they like kept asking too many questions, and these same 8 people have been playing together for 9 years, you know what I mean? And someone's like, oh, let me bring my friend. He comes all the time. And you're like, hey, so what does this do? And everyone's like,
sure.
Okay,
and she's probably replying to just now random comments on TikTok too, like because these things are going viral, and then the comments are like, what? And she's like, for the 50th
for the 50th fucking time, yeah. Because other people that aren't part of their little community. Yeah, it's like you're in a comic store and you and your 10 friends get together and play Magic the Gathering, and someone brings their girlfriend, and the girlfriend's like, so what does the mana do? And everyone just looks at each other like, do you want to field this, Bill? Because you're going to need mana if you... honestly, I can't... You know what? We're going to take a break, I think.
I'm done.
For the 9th time, this card is a bird. It takes 2 mana if you want to bring it out. And you attack your... I don't know if I could do this, John.
Yeah, she's... or they, or whatever they are. It's good luck. Good luck to them.
Good luck to
All
them.
the best.
There's probably one of my favorite astrology things that came out.
I saw
so
that.
the Reddit, we've been looking around at the astrology Reddit, and one of the things is, so I wanted to, Danny, as it might have been better off using astrology.
Probably, that's what I was thinking. I go, we're good for them.
So there's astrology, and basically they've decided that
I could have used a fortune teller for the FTX stuff. That's what I should have gone, because there's fortune tellers all over New York City. Egg on my face. Could have spent $20 on that, saved myself quite.
And they basically do the cards and they go, whatever sign Jupiter is, if you research the stock market sectors governed by that sign's ruling planet, in this case Aries, ruling planet is Mars, in order to learn what will be the hot sectors that should prove to be good money makers, as Jupiter brings abundance. So the sectors that Mars governs include healthcare. So this is, if you want to do this, it's healthcare, auto industry, pharmaceuticals, cement. I just like that astrology said big tobacco. So astrology. So the astrology right now, if you're like trying to buy stocks by astrology, it says buy tobacco, fashion and beauty. It kind of covered everything.
Yeah, pretty much everything.
Every sector.
Hospitality, travel, tourism, clothing, sugar, and it says there may be other agricultural crops. Not sure. This is like, I guess, a woman, like, this is like, if you're into astrology, then you probably think like, oh, this shit works.
Yeah.
And then you see your husband just like hemorrhaging money in the stock market, and you go like, wait, why is he making the decision? All my astrology stuff works. Let me give a crack at it.
It's definitely been, my astrology stuff's been crushing it.
Yeah.
Using astrology to try to pick stocks is the final form of the moment that we're in right now. Everyone losing their money. Girls think we should be investors too. Like,
yeah, sure.
Why isn't there enough girls in investing?
And watching your husband lose all the money, you go, well, I'll
tell you
worse
what.
than this.
Remember when crypto was kind of crushing, and there was like 10,000 articles about like why the crypto space is like against women and they're not welcome there. Now that everyone's losing their money, you haven't seen one article about how they want to join anymore.
No, they don't. No,
you don't
they
see a
don't.
single article being like, why are we allowed in crypto now?
Yeah.
Once it gets hot again, it'll be like
Of course,
100
that's
articles
the
again.
cycle. I mean, in hindsight, that's probably a good, like enough of those articles, and you go like, time
That
to sell.
is a really good marker. If you start seeing a lot of articles about why crypto isn't welcoming to women, it's time to sell.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because
That's a really good point.
That's just basically female FOMO at that point, because they go like, why aren't we participating in
As
this?
soon as you start seeing
this
female FOMO, sell everything.
Sure, yeah.
We should have seen that coming.
There were a few other signs as well.
There's every sign in the
There were
world.
many signs.
Female FOMO also was when JJ and our buddy was doing stock.
Yeah, when JJ was wearing T-shirts that said like Moon Boy on them and stuff, that in hindsight was a pretty good top. The Just for Laughs NFTs selling out was a pretty good sign of a top. There was a lot. There was when a cartoon ape was selling for $1 million. That was a good one. There was a few. In hindsight, there's a couple.
I'm happy I never got involved in any of that junk.
Yeah.
Well, there's another one that they were saying there's they're wondering if there's any places where you can get a university level or graduate level understanding of astrology. I think that would be the number one if that happens.
I'm sorry. They don't teach astrology at colleges.
Well, they're wondering if they do, and they're saying that there needs to be. Yeah, so that would become the new thing. You have an astrology.
There must be
degree.
a lot of chicks actually who probably accidentally sign up for an astronomy course in college.
Of course.
And then they're like, so when's the tarot cards coming out? And they go, no, this is astronomy.
Of course.
This is actually
But can you
hard.
imagine taking a $100K loan to have like a Harvard astrology degree? That would be the new gender studies.
That'll be some other kind of top, maybe in the top in the
That would single-handedly
college
be like
degrees.
put a stop to Bernie Sanders as the campaign. If he was like everyone should get free college, all you'd have to do is just point to the astrology course.
Sure.
You go, no, we're not paying
you
for
know
that.
the thing that's like really not a thing?
No one's paying for this, Bernard. That's the end of that. Bernard, no one's paying for that, okay?
I wonder if there's ever been an astrology course in a college. I bet there is some like super liberal arts, like the Evergreens.
There's probably been a course, yeah.
Yeah, just like someone.
Or like maybe it's more like the
But
history of.
but we're talking about like for a credit for like a
Well,
a serious college degree. You get
they had one that was like a rocks course.
yeah, Rocks for Jocks.
Rocks for Jocks, yeah.
Yeah, I took
But
it. It wasn't that easy.
No, it was Rocks for Hawks. Rocks for Stephen Hawking. It was legitimately.
That was
it was the biggest scam.
in first year of college.
Remember Guelph had Rocks for Jocks?
Yes, I took it. And it was not that easy. I specifically remember that.
No, it was the biggest scam. It was this course. It was basically like geology, but it was
Yeah, it was
supposed to be the
Geology
easiest
101.
course in the world, and everyone was like, "It's a gimme credit," and then everyone was like flunking out of it, and then that's when we were all saying it was Rocks for Hawks, like
Yeah.
it'd be Stephen Hawking to take it.
Yeah, I remember that. I took it. I specifically remember I took Rocks for Jocks.
Rocks for Hawks.
And then like everybody else, you go, this isn't that easy.
That was a big scam.
Yeah.
I'm going to take another quick second to tell you about Athletic Greens. Now, I take this every morning. Before I run, first thing I do, pop the Athletic Greens in there, shake her up. It's got a mild tropical taste. Glug, glug,
Ooh,
down the hatch.
I've been having it every morning.
Me and Danny just got a big re-up supply too.
Big re-up.
I don't think I've missed a morning in a while. So the mission at AG1 Athletic Greens is to empower people to take ownership of their health with a simple daily habit. A lot of times you're taking all these different vitamins and you start to get a little bit wishy-washy about what you took and what does what, and it's a big concoction.
Yep.
So AG1 can solve that. If you want better gut health, increased energy, immune system support, if you don't like taking pills and vitamins, you want a supplement that actually tastes great. I take it in the morning. You're doing something good for your body, giving it the nutrition it craves, and covering all your nutritional bases. Why take a bunch of things when you could just mix one scoop of powder and water once a day? It's the healthiest thing you can do in under a minute. I always like a nice life hack, and I've come to love and trust AG1 by Athletic Greens. The all-in-one formula makes it easy for me to cover my nutritional bases. Every scoop's packed with 75 vitamins, minerals, whole food sourced ingredients of the highest quality that gives me major benefits like gut and mood support, boosted energy, and even healthier looking skin, hair, and nails. So if you're looking for an easier way to take supplements, Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Go to athleticgreens.com/boyscast. That's athleticgreens.com/boyscast. Okay, let's get back into it. Do you think that do you think that it's pretty crazy what's happening with the Google firing everyone, or is everything like in your mind? It was just like obviously it was going to happen, and that's what it is.
Yeah, every tech company is doing it. I mean, it is crazy that they fired 27 massage therapists.
That's how many massage therapists they had?
No, that's how many they fired.
No way.
Yeah. I mean, they added 50,000 employees in the last 2 years, and then they laid
have
off
in-building massage therapists. It's like a little kingdom over there.
Well,
right?
their whole thing is they want you to never leave. It's like their apps, like it's like YouTube. They want to keep you in there as long as possible.
Oh yeah.
So they're probably just like, and you know.
So you're kind of like, oh, I want to go to the gym, and you're like, right there.
I'm gonna go. Yeah, I gotta go get out of here, go home because I gotta get.
What do you have to do?
Gym. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, why? What do you need to do a massage?
Yeah, we got it all.
Well, bring it over. So that's the reason for it.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, they're just like, if we put everything here, just anything the guy wants, like, hey, I want to go on a nature hike. Get on the treadmill. We got your VR nature.
Yeah.
Nature VR.
Pretty much. But yeah, they fired 27 massage therapists.
That's crazy.
Probably if you're like that must be the ultimate gig as a massage therapist, where you're like, I work like I'm an employee of Google, like I'm not even a contractor.
That's a big one. Yeah.
You're like, you probably get stock options, you get full Google benefits, the works. But yeah, they fired 12,000 employees. They hired in the last 2 years 50,000. So
well, you're right, because and it was one of those things where I've been sort of like, I feel like the discourse around when like tech companies fire everything, it's all like, it's almost useless because people are like, can you believe these companies fire enough? It's like, all it is it was like every other company's doing it. The economy's bad. And if they don't do it, everyone will sell their stock, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because if Facebook's firing everyone and it sort of becomes a run on it at some point, or it just becomes like, and that's what you said. Yeah, but you have to, right? You said Twitter did it and it doesn't really affect their company that much. And then they go to the other companies and there's like, hey, like, why aren't you doing it?
Oh, there's no way.
Take your medicine.
There's no way it's going to affect them in any way. Google, like their bottom line. But
a lot of times they kind of it's almost like you have too many employees because you're growing, right?
Yeah.
And then as soon as the growth slows down, you're kind of like, well, then we're not.
Well, there's a forecasting element to it as well, right? Where you're like, yeah, they hire because they go like, this is where we're going to be, and then
so we're going to want all these employees.
Exactly, like we can't wait to get to that point and then hire them. We have to hire them in anticipation, and then this is the opposite of that.
And then it stops growing, and you're like, okay, yeah, well, we don't need these people anymore.
We don't need these people,
and it is kind of one of those things. People are always like pointing to the CEOs. It's not even like, I mean, maybe you could just say obviously it's like not good people getting fired or whatever, but it's like, it's one of those things where there isn't a good or, it just is, because if like the CEOs, it's like someone's money, you know what I mean? And you go imagine the CEO's like, hey, I'm not going to fire everyone. They're like, okay, well, you're fired then.
Oh, of course. And also
like how many doesn't that happen all the time where like the CEO's like, no, I'm not going to do that. And everyone's like, okay, well, I'm going to pull all my money out unless guy's gone.
Yeah. At the end of the day, the CEO is responsible for, the value creation. So if they're not, because they have too many people, like that's their job. It's like, and it's a hard job to be like, hey, I'm laying off 12,000 people, and some of those people like are on, I mean, probably a good chunk of them are like on visas from different countries. So
that's really crappy.
So they're getting sent home.
Well, that's what happened with Coinbase at one point. Is apparently they hired a bunch of people and they all came over here, and then they like rescinded their letters.
Yeah.
And people like moved to the country.
But the Coinbase people had never moved. They were just told that they were getting their visas, and then
I don't know.
Because it was like it was within days. Like those letters, it was like the next day or something. But it even says in this thing, they go, they're providing all the laid off employees 6 months of healthcare, job placement services, and immigration support for those affected. So they have people who are going to try and help you stay. But I mean, there are a lot of people who are like, yeah, I guess I have to go.
Apparently a lot of the YouTube people a lot of people are getting fired right and left.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's like I'm sure you just get to the point where like they're just not doing anything.
That whole industry is just like getting torched right now.
Yeah, I mean it's how it is. It's everything is just like it's cyclical. You know, there's ebbs and flows.
So what do you think if you're a tech person and I guess it depends on your age, right? Because if you're getting fired right now and you're like 45 and make a ton of money, you're fucked a little bit, right? But if you're like 22 and don't get paid that much, it was like you might be screwed for a year or two and then you're gonna be back. You might have to get a crappier job for a little bit, then you're back in the game.
Well, I'll say this: if you're 45 and you've been working at Google for the past however many years,
You're rich.
You're rich. So
Unless you're a moron.
yeah, so it's probably just like it's an inconvenience, but you're probably highly skilled and will be fine, and you're rich.
Yeah.
And if you're young, you're also fine.
It is one of those things, like, even in, I mean, it is like almost, there is this something of like, everything has been like just cooking for a while. It's like the first time that a lot of people of their age have experienced like a bad economy or whatever.
Yeah.
But you almost do. It's like, I have friends that work in places like that and they have the mindset, they're around our age, and they have the mindset of like, yeah, at some point I won't be here. Like I know that I'm like getting paid way too much money,
course.
and I have to like save for when I eventually get fired. They sort of have that attitude of like,
which is smart.
They have, especially when it was like especially the white dudes were like, oh, I'm hanging on, buddy.
Yeah.
I'm literally like, if I can get $500,000 a year, like 5 more years, like I'll consider this as a win. You know what I mean?
Sure, absolutely. And a lot of the people fired, like they're not, they're probably like the customer. Like you ever use customer service on Google stuff, where you just like click the chat window or whatever, and like you're talking to someone in like 5 seconds. It's like you barely ever wait. Like it's whereas a lot of sites you're like you got to wait a whole long time. So like a lot of these people are probably just it's not like executives, but I think a quarter of them were some sort of manager. But I think it said something like they have 50,000 managers or something at Google, like who have managerial positions. Like they're such a huge company,
right?
And again, if you work at Google, like that's one of the top tech companies. I can't imagine it's that hard to find a job.
No, I don't think so.
Afterwards.
But it just, there might be like a year where everyone's kind of firing people and there isn't that much hiring.
Sure. Yeah. I don't know how that all plays out, but I imagine if you're talented, you'll land on your feet.
I got a article that I just saw on the way here that I feel like you'll like the headline of.
Okay.
So Dave Chappelle had a show and people aren't happy, but the headline is, did you guess what it is?
I would imagine it's involved some sort of transphobia.
No, you're on the wrong track. Dave Chappelle, Chris Rock show at Enterprise Theater, for some was
racist.
No laughing matter. I thought you were gonna get it.
No laughing matter.
That's your favorite thing.
I know. Fuck.
I thought I was pandering to you with this article. Well, for some, the Chris Rock show was no laughing matter. Right. But here's the funny part. It was an old...
Is the funny part of it? Or is that you're editorializing? Was that you or was that here?
This is me editorializing.
All right.
But this is me editorializing.
Real joker over here.
You would think, so you're wrong on both accords because you think it was like, I went and it's transphobia, right?
Sure.
But it was the opposite. It's a whole article.
And bomb?
No, they were just like there's all these articles about Chappelle, how they didn't like the concert, and it was like the concert ran late and the line was too big. It was like old school complaining.
Oh, it was the issue with the venue.
Yeah.
It
was like, honestly, it made me feel like this article period made me feel like 2014 again.
Sure.
It was an article, for some, this concert was no laughing matter. And it was like, I could picture like an old school like newscaster outside the place and the guys being like, we've been waiting outside the venue for 45 minutes. It's kind of cold right now.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. And then they cut to another guy coming out and being like, I mean, the concert was okay, but there was, the concessions were overpriced and they made me put a phone in a bag.
Yeah.
And that's all of the things are like old school complaints.
What's the article from?
Still today, STL today,
okay.
St. Louis.
Okay. I love the idea because like these don't go to an editor. Like oftentimes the editor is the one who picks like the headline.
Well, exactly.
So like I'd like to think like it's a young kind of guy or girl who wrote it, and they're definitely not using "It's a Laughing Matter."
No,
because they just know it's so trite and garbage, and then they send it to the editor, and the editor's like, "Yeah, let me just spruce this up," and they're like, "Fuck." Like, can you do anything other than "It's no laughing matter"?
Well, they probably
for the 400th time.
They come in and they were like, "Listen, I don't like this laughing matter title," and they close the door behind you, and they go,
"Let me tell you something about the journalism."
They go, "You're new. This is your first comedy piece, I'm assuming."
Yeah, so this is how it works. Anytime something bad happens at a comedy show, the headline involves the term "It's no laughing."
It's not a laughing matter.
It's just a rule of journalism.
This is where'd you go to school? You went to school. You went to McGill. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let me tell you how it works in the real world. Things aren't a laughing matter when they involve comedy.
Do you get it? Because it's like ironic because it's a comedy
I don't think
show,
he
right?
gets it. He
So
goes-
it's like it is a laughing
Yeah,
matter.
yeah,
It's like
that-
it's literally a laughing matter. But then in this instance, people are upset because it's not. It's no laughing matter.
That's what he's arguing about. And the person's like, I get that. He goes, I don't think you do. He goes, I don't think you get it. And he goes, yeah, John, come in here.
Yeah.
Can you explain to me? He goes, because in comedy, you try to make people laugh and it's not a laughing matter. He goes, no, I understand that. I just don't think people like it. He goes, you must not. Hey, Bill.
We're having two different conversations right now. We're talking past each other because
I don't understand how you can see this and not like it. Bill, get in here. Explain. Okay.
Yeah.
He goes, hey, Bill, okay. So we're doing an article on Chappelle's comedy show. Not a laughing matter. That's all I need you for, Bill. He goes,
Probably
probably like, that was it.
probably
Actually.
there's like a comedy critic who just retired and he goes like, let me just show you some of the best headlines from and they're all just every single one of them. This is no laughing matter.
Even then, his final last article was comedy critic retiring is no laughing matter because he has cancer. Because I have cancer.
Oh shit. That's good.
Yeah, it's not a laughing matter. Well, anyways, that's what people are mad about.
That's fine.
I think he says, I'd appreciate a partial refund. That's it. So,
And I imagine this is where the like St. Louis Blues play.
yeah, I think so.
Like
Yeah,
it's
no,
like
I was,
a
yeah,
giant
like
arena.
that. Yeah.
That's like saying like, I went to Madison Square Garden. I would like a refund, please.
Yeah.
You go, yeah. Good luck with that. Good luck with getting a fucking refund on your White Claw, on your $20 White Claw.
He
from
wanted at
MSG.
least a partial refund. He didn't think that would be unfair. That's one of those things when you put a mic in front of someone's face and they just start talking.
Sure,
you're like,
yeah.
I don't know. The lines were a little long. He goes, well, should it be refunded? Yeah, I guess a partial refund at least would be okay. And then that's their story, right? That person do you think that the person who went to this, like wrote this story was ready to go and be like, they were going to the Chappelle show to write a story about like his tirade. And it wasn't really that crazy. And
Yeah,
was
he
like-
didn't say anything.
He didn't say anything crazy about the trans stuff. He didn't really know what to do. So he was just like, these lines are kind of long.
Yeah.
He started talking to the person beside us and he was like watching and Chappelle's just like talking about race and this and that. And then the person beside him, he's like, yeah, well, that line was a little long to get in here. Eh? Chappelle's a little late. He's like, excuse me, what'd you just say?
He goes,
Chappelle's
can
not
I
on-
get you to sign a consent form?
Hey, he goes, what did you just
A
say?
release here?
He goes, well, he's supposed to be on at 10. It's like 10:45. And he goes, say that again into this microphone.
Yeah. And you go, is it because of his race that he's late? He goes, no. It's just like, you know how entertainers are? You go, perfect.
I like it. Yeah. This is the story. This
This is good old-fashioned local news. This is good old-fashioned local news.
Picnic rained out.
Yeah. It's just all that shit.
Well, Tim, we were souping up to have a pretty good picnic out here, and it just started raining. And
Yeah,
we got through a third of the regatta, but we haven't got to the wheelbarrow race. We only end up doing the under 10 category. So I guess we're just, it is what it is. There's nothing we can really
Skies
do.
opened up, there's nothing you can do about it. And you go, yeah, that's good shit.
That's what it is. Good old fashioned local.
Yeah, we all
Woman
have to
makes-
wait in the gazebo while we waited for it to pass, but it just didn't pass. And,
So I guess I'm packing up my stuff, and it is what it is. And Barb baked a really good cake, and I guess no one's gonna get to eat it, but that's their loss.
yeah.
Good old fashioned local news.
I pine for this, for the days of good old
That must suck so bad that all the local news guys that had to start to get into the race stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they probably they used to get to do all the feel good stories, you know what I mean?
Of course.
This 2-year-old managed to win the local.
Pie.
No, I'm trying to think of what's it called when they tie their legs together. 3-legged race.
Oh, 3-legged race, yeah.
Samantha won the 3-legged race, and she's like, "Yeah, I just tried really hard, and despite the fact that she broke her arm last week."
Sure,
and
but
the
then-
big
but
feel
then
good story.
someone
Now she
with-
had to be like, now they have to go in to be like, "I heard someone called you the N-word."
Or in St. Louis, St. Louis has a little bit of a crime problem, so their
Yeah.
local news are pretty dour.
Yeah, that's what they want. Yeah, they did. Nowadays it's just like woman called N-word.
Yeah.
That's Twitter's so chock full of like fight videos right now. It's really popping off with and there's all these videos where it's like, I don't know if you saw recently some kid called his teacher the N-word, which isn't in the video, so I never saw that part.
Oh,
Dude, there's
no?
so many videos online.
Man, you
right
know
now.
what? It's funny that you're saying this because I wonder if the reason you're seeing this is because Twitter changed their default to the algorithm, not the like there's now like the For You and following.
Yeah.
And because there was like 3 days last week where I go like, why am I all of a sudden seeing all this shit I don't follow on Twitter?
Because they're putting an algorithm
I
in the mix.
specifically wanted just my chronological people
You're
I
an
follow.
old school man.
Well, if I have the option, that's what I
Sounds
want.
like a local. This sounds like a news story. Local man not happy with Twitter's
I'm out
changes.
front of Twitter's St. Louis office.
You're
Like,
protesting Elon Musk, but for that reason.
Yeah, for that reason, I go, give me. And then it took me like 3 days, and someone tweeted about it. I go, oh yeah, they changed it.
Yeah, I didn't know until you started fucking squawking.
Well, that's
about it.
but I wonder if so there's the For You and the following tabs now,
I know you've been going on about this.
and it defaults you to the For You.
You've not been happy,
This
Cameron.
is,
You've
this is
met-
old man yells at cloud.
This is old man yells at cloud, but you've also probably the fourth time you've mentioned but you sort of have like a little bit of a prissy. It's sort of how you are with your art. You're with this. You're just like, I've seen it come up. People were talking about Twitter 3 or 4 times where you go, well, me personally, I just have my followings.
Well, I don't want.
I know, but you've been slipping into conversation like you're better than me, that you just have your
I'm
following.
not better than you.
I'm not better than you.
I just wanted. To,
Me personally, I've switched mine to the old school because I don't subscribe to algorithms. I curate my own my feed, my rules, and that's Danny. When your Danny Polshuck's feed has nothing that I've not signed up for. That's how I live my life. If you whatever you want to do, you want to have that slop, whatever they put in front of you, you're gonna watch, and that's how you are. Me, Danny, that ain't me.
that ain't me, dude.
I'm not gonna apologize for that. Oh yeah, anyway.
I just looked at the For You tab too, and all it is that fake account that said that the obese is the new N-word, and now it's like trending everywhere because everybody's falling for it when it's obviously like the fakest shit.
Yeah, because she goes, obese is trending. I can't believe now. Wow, Twitter has literal slurs trending.
Yeah, that's the top thing in my For You right now. I don't want to see this shit. It's like fake. It's just like a bunch of people falling for this, like boomers falling for this fucking fake thing. Yeah, I don't want to see that.
Dude, my Twitter is.
I'll still see it regardless, but I'm like, it's just pinned.
Yeah, someone has to retweet it.
It's pinned to the top.
Well, all of it is a video of like a black guy beating someone up, and then the title, and it's literally just a guy like getting the shit kicked out of him, and then the titles, man beat someone up for calling him the N-word, which like can't be. There's not in the video that. So,
Well, it probably happened before they started filming.
Or someone knew it would go viral.
Right.
I think I don't even know. My take on it is I'm sure there is someone that gets beat up for getting called the N-word, but like my take is if you were trying to go viral with a video and you're
Absolutely.
like, here's a photo of a guy getting beat up, but you go, here's a guy getting beat up because he's getting his just desserts because he was racist. Everyone's tweets like, good. Of
course.
I would have done worse if he did it to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're lucky that's all that guy did.
I don't even really know what you get out of that if you're the.
I guess you build your following.
Yeah, I guess because there's no monetization on Twitter.
No, you're just building your viral videos so you can post more fight videos.
Yeah. The best is can we
So
talk
many
about,
fight
can we talk about the
videos.
fake comedy club
What's the fake comedy
in
club?
Toronto?
Oh, as long as you can if you want to.
I don't know. It's just because it just reminds me of this, like, why post this? And then this guy we know who was like would post all these super clickbait YouTube videos and then grew a huge YouTube channel. And now he has like a fake comedy club. And then he posted fake reviews for his fake comedy club that's like in an attic. And then some people fell for it and went and like.
Well, the comments was funny because it said like, crazy. Dave Chappelle was working at
Yeah.
last night.
Yeah,
I'm doing the comedy club. I'm on the roster, so
Yeah, Ryan's a company man.
I'm a company man.
Anyway,
I'll go
that's all
pop by next time I come back.
It's fake though.
You're banned, so
Yeah, I just signed my goddamn death certificate for that club.
he's the best.
Persona non
Dude,
grata.
the guy who runs this comedy club's the fucking goat, dude. Yo, posting that Chappelle was there last night.
Literally reviews being like, if Chappelle was here, like Bill Burr and stuff, and it's all misspelled. Like Chappelle's not even spelled right, and then but people are falling for it and showing up to this guy's attic.
Dude, he's the goat.
I love it.
Dude, it literally
I love
says
it.
it says like there's no comedy show, worst experience ever. Great time. Dave Chappelle showed up. It was amazing. I've never been to a better comedy club. Apparently Louis CK is coming tomorrow.
Yeah.
Bad deal.
Yeah, like fraud.
Dave Chappelle was not there. Dave Chappelle was definitely there. He's the king, dude.
I love that guy. It is. So funny.
Yeah, you just got yourself banned though, pal.
That's fine.
You're on the you're on the wave.
We'll just add it to another club in Toronto I don't work at.
Oh my god. Well, anyways, I was really liking the fact that No Laughing Matter was making back in the rounds. Pamela Anderson now. So Pamela Anderson has a new tell-all biography. Every time a big superstar puts in a tell-all biography, everyone in Hollywood must be shaking in their boots.
Yeah.
Because that was even before the cancellations. The tell-all biographies cannot. You go. There's no way this could be good. It's like legitimately. She goes, "Hey, I'm going to publish a list of Hollywood secrets." Everyone's like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
The tell-all biographies are nailing coffins, but
usually it's like the death knell of it's trying to resuscitate the career, I guess.
I know,
but for what?
Make a big amount. You basically are like, hey, let me throw everyone I've ever met under the bus to try to make some money.
And that's the thing too. It's not like, I guess if you're her, because you're like, it's not like she wrote it. She meets with a guy at a coffee.
Specifically in this one, she did make a whole big point of being like, I don't have a ghostwriter, but maybe she does. But she said she had someone help her, but she's made a whole stink about how she didn't have a ghostwriter.
All right. Well.
Ghostwriter. Anyway, she basically said, I don't know, some of this stuff seems like it would be like libel or whatever. But anyways, Tim Allen has denied that he pulled his dick out and then said, I've seen you naked, so it's only...
that's the big bombshell from the whole thing? Like, this is the number one, or is this like a snippet she released?
Snippet. Well, this one kind of went viral.
You think it's how he got the name The Tool Man?
I think when he... Of course.
Like, she coined it? She goes, hey,
I
Tool
think
Man!
what happened is she basically came in, he goes, I've seen you naked, so it's only... reasonable that you see me naked is what the thing said, and then he whispered it into her ear. Oh.
Boom, 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 boom,
Yeah, I think he whispered it. Hey, she goes, when's Wilson coming? He goes, he's right here, and he pulls up his shirt and he's got his erect penis fucking tipping over the top of the waistband. Like, it's almost this one's a little too obvious, but I think that you have to say it's Tool time. Yeah. You have to say that his dick's doing a Wilson. I just don't see a scenario where I could not do it. It's on a platter.
It's on a platter. I think we're pretty quick to this too, so it's not like No Laughing Matter is going to be all over the place. we might be the first.
I can't imagine that there hasn't been a lot of people that said, do you think that's why he's the Tool Man?
Yeah. I mean, for Tim Allen, he's just like... He's pretty much like, look, I'm at this point, the things that have been taken from me have been taken from me. I am now untouchable.
Yeah, well, he says it didn't happen. He was just like, no, it didn't happen.
Oh, why?
But apparently he had a robe. But I guess does Tim Allen walk around the set of Tool Time with a robe on?
I don't know. Maybe.
It's Tool Time.
He could theoretically walk around in a robe, but...
Also, she was with Tommy Lee at the time, and she had the hugest piece, though. So Tim Allen must be packing if he has that kind of confidence.
Maybe.
To pull out his not hard piece.
This was like 91, I think. No, I don't know if was she with Tommy Lee at that point? She says this is early... Because remember, she was on Tool Time or Home Improvement for like
the original season,
first season, and then that was it. And then she dipped.
It's Tool Time.
Yeah.
It's 2 o'clock maybe.
I mean, maybe it happened.
We had a while where Tim Hortons in Canada, we used to call it Tim Burton's, and then we used to call it Tim Allen's. We used to go, you want to go to Tim Allen's? I don't know why that sort of was sticking for a while.
Quiet inside.
Okay, I got to tell you about the worst movie of all time.
Yeah.
Okay. It was called, what was it called? Fuck, I can't remember the name of it. Okay, look up. Okay, Mel Gibson,
Passion of the Christ.
Radio. He's a radio guy, radio DJ. Okay, and I'm gonna be spoilers here. On the line is.
Oh, this is new?
It is maybe the worst movie that's ever been made. So basically,
I mean, I can't imagine he's getting the best scripts these days.
Well, this one, I honestly recommend watching it, and I think me wrecking it for you would actually make it better to watch it. I wish someone told me this before I watched it. So basically, he's this old radio DJ, right? And it's got every last fix in. Like, he comes in and he's sort of a hot shot, and then his, the manager's there and being like, he used to be the main guy, but his ratings are plummeting, and she's like, listen, Bill, you got to get on the TikTok, and he's like, that ain't me. I'm going to keep doing the same thing that I ever did. So he's got all that sort of things, and he's a shock jock, you know what I mean?
It reminds me of Talk Radio.
Yeah, I guess.
You remember that movie, Talk Radio, with Eric Bogosian?
I don't know if you know
premise.
Well, do you know what happens in it?
Yeah, I don't remember now.
Well, I don't think it's the same premise then. What's the premise of that movie?
Talk Radio is a 1988 American drama thriller film directed by Oliver Stone. Sorry, it's
you don't even know what happened.
On air, I've seen it, but I saw it when I was a kid. On air radio personality likes to push buttons and the envelope. The talk show host is gaining popularity, and then something like people are sending in like dead animals and stuff, and they're like coming after him, but the whole thing takes place in the studio.
Okay, well, in this one, what happens sounds like somewhat different.
Sure. Okay.
Is basically there's a caller that calls in and he's got his wife hostage and he's like, I want you to tell all these secrets, like you've been smashing my wife and she killed herself and all this sort of stuff, right?
Okay.
So he goes, I have the whole thing rigged up with dynamite. So at the end of it, the whole movie goes by, and then at the end of it, they go, this was a prank on our new producer. And they have 25 people there. They have bombs everywhere. They kill a guy.
Mel Gibson's in on it.
They shoot someone and they have fake guns. Well, Mel Gibson's the one doing it to the new intern. So they do the whole movie, and then at the end of it, it's like it was just a dream. And then they shoot someone else, and then the guy falls down the stairs. And then it turns out they were all in on it, and they were actually pranking him. So
it was a double prank.
Except, so if Mel Gibson's in on it and the guy's in on it, the whole movie, everyone was just acting. So there wasn't one person that was scared. And then you go, in the entire movie, I was thinking, I would go, why aren't the cops here? Because he's broadcasting on the radio, being like, oh, this guy's trying to kill me. And then he goes, this is what you have 30 seconds to try to go find this bomb. And you got to do this and you got to do that. And this is going on the whole movie. And the entire time I'm watching it, I was just like, wait, why wouldn't the cops be there? That makes no sense. So the cops are listening to there. And now it's been, 90 minutes. Why wouldn't the cops be there? Why wouldn't the bomb squad be there? You have a terrorist that's going to blow up a building in downtown Manhattan or whatever it is. Or I don't know where it is.
It's in LA.
LA. Yeah, so it goes on and on and on. So the whole time I'm just like, this movie doesn't make sense. And they're like, yeah, we were just pranking this guy. So you're like, okay, so that was stupid. Who cares? And then the guy's like, actually, we were pranking Mel Gibson. You're like, why would I care about any of this now?
But they force you to make that decision once you've watched the whole movie.
Yeah.
They trick you into the caring until the very end.
Yeah,
It's just
and their whole thing.
It's like a fuck you for watching.
It was a fuck you for watching. And they were like, gotcha. But I was like, you didn't get me. Because the whole time I was being, none of this makes sense.
Yeah.
I was like, none of this would be happening. There'd be cops there. There'd be bombs there. And then they were like, at the end, they're like, well, that explains why the cops weren't there. And I was like, yeah, but it doesn't change the fact that I hated it.
I mean, do you think it's maybe like a deeper commentary about how nobody listens to the radio anymore? Because he has like a midnight slot on the radio. And it's
Deeper
just like
commentary.
Deeper commentary, potentially.
Worst movie ever.
104 minutes?
It's a piece of shit.
Do you watch these things on like a sped up like Spotify?
I do
podcasts?
skip parts sometimes.
Where was this?
I don't know, one of the Netflix or
God
Amazon.
Damn.
I like Mel Gibson, so when he comes around, I usually click on him.
It's weird. This is a French production.
Crappiest thing I've ever seen.
It's all French people who wrote it. Too.
I haven't seen a movie this bad in ages.
Yeah, because like the French are like they're just like more cool with the anti-Semitism stuff, or they haven't heard maybe.
No, he's back in the mix.
Is he though?
Yeah, he makes things. He was a big Santa Claus movie recently.
Interesting.
I think that. And then Donald Trump, they're probably one of the best fucking stories in a long time. So basically, Trump had a golf tournament. Did you know all about the golf tournament?
Of course, he didn't play the first round, and he still took it down. The club championship.
So basically, Trump has a golf tournament, and then he didn't play the first round, but he goes, because he was like, oh, I have to go to a funeral, but I played like a hot round the day before, so we'll count that round as my other round. And he won the tournament. You go, first of all, anytime you have a tournament where an 80-year-old man's winning the tournament, you go, like...
Yeah. I mean, he's a good golfer.
Yeah, but everyone else would have to be crazy bad to not beat a 70-year-old.
Yeah. Well, I think there must be age categories. Like he's not playing against 20-year-olds.
Okay.
It's just like in his age category, like the seniors category at the club. Again, I still probably think
Did he win the seniors category?
I think that's what he won. But then I think
Trump winning his own golf tournaments is so great.
But also like the point, well, it's the club, but I think the point of him releasing that is to be like, hey, everybody, just, like I'm physically fit and mentally fit to be president.
You think that's what's coming out?
Oh, yeah. That's the real point of that.
So Trump does these golf tournaments and wins them as like publicity to let like the press know like this is the kind of shape I'm in. Could Joe Biden win a golf tournament?
Exactly.
Joe Biden couldn't win a opening one jar competition, let alone multiple golf tournaments like Donald Trump. I'm the GOAT.
Yeah. You follow him on Truth Social too? Because that's what he wrote basically.
What did he write?
No, he wrote, I don't know, something about that, about his stupid golf tournament.
He's happy with his golf tournament. Okay, one last thing we'll do before. And then, well, okay. Okay. So they have Okay, maybe two things. Maybe this will be a longer episode, but they have a Vice had or no, it wasn't Vice. It was like an Instagram story thing, right? And it's an old guide to finding a husband, like back in the day from the 80s. And they have all these photos, and we'll put some of the photos up. But basically, they used to have these books, right? And people get mad at them, like, can you believe they used to do this stuff? So tell me if you think it's good advice for girls or don't.
I think I maybe saw this. Yeah.
I might have showed you it last week.
Oh, okay.
I had it on my phone.
I think I like that.
Don't be too familiar with your escort by caressing him in public. An open flow of affection embarrasses him, especially in public. So it's like, don't be too like touchy-feely and like kissing them. It's like, so far you go,
so far so good,
pretty reasonable, right? Some of this stuff where you look at it and they're just like, because girls are like, look, like it's getting posted as like, can you imagine girls used to get this advice? And
all guys are like, the good old
Well, the
days.
reason why they think it's offensive is because they think of it, they take it out of context and they go, girls are being told this, but it's like, yeah, and guy have a version of it like, hey, if you're trying to pick up girls, do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this is the girls like, hey, if you're trying to get a husband, like this is the way to do it.
And girls just hate being told what to do.
They do not like that.
No.
Yeah. But it's like objectively, some of it is true. One of the best ones, they go, don't be too familiar with the head waiter. And that's like the, head waiter talking about the fun you had with someone else another time. Men deserve your entire attention. It was like another pretty good advice. Like, dude,
don't flirt with the waiter.
That's an Andrew Tate one, but it really is like the number one. If you go to a girl to like a bar and she knows all the staff, she knows the bouncer, gets her in for free, you're like, this girl's way too on the scene.
Of course.
Like it's like so obvious you don't want a girl that's just like knows every guy at every club.
No, hell no.
Hell no, right?
Even if there's nothing there, your imagination is going to run wild.
It's just one of those things, right?
Yeah.
You're just like, okay, so she's just been party girl of the year, banged all these guys.
Yeah, not ideal.
Don't use your car mirror to fix your makeup. He needs it for driving. That one's, I think you can use the car mirror if you want to fix the makeup.
I think that was legitimately written before there was like a mirror on the passenger side.
Maybe. Yeah. Don't drink too much. A man expects you to keep your dignity. Some girls may seem clever, but most of them seem silly. It's like, yeah, don't get crazy drunk on a first date.
Yeah.
Like they're all like pretty
I don't think this is a
reasonable.
first date though. This is just in general. This is like life advice forever.
In public, I think in public you don't want to get too sloppy drunk, but if you're like, just period anyone, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you could have a guy one where it's like, yeah, don't like fucking get drunk and punch walls at a fucking, don't get into a guy one would be like, don't get into a fight like immediately
or
at a
blackout drunk
function.
on a first date either.
Mm-hmm. Don't sit in awkward positions and look bored. And then the other one's like only talk about stuff he wants you to talk to. That one I don't really agree with that much because he goes, it says basically don't talk about your clothes, or describe your gown. Flatter him by talking about things he wants.
That's how you know it's old, because they say gown.
I know, but to me, I would be like, yes, it is being like, don't talk about boring shit like your gown that he doesn't want to talk about. But at the other side of it, there is like, I don't want a girl like pretend like you want to. I feel like I could tell if a girl is like. When a girl, you know how a lot of people do like the win friends and influence people stuff, and they just ask a lot of questions about yourself.
Course, yeah.
That actually annoys me.
Sure. Well, because you know the playbook.
I know, yeah, because I can see it.
Yeah.
It actually annoys me like a lot of times when people are like, "Oh, how are you doing this? How's this?" And I'm just like, I don't know. I don't want. Like, I feel like we're having like a fake. This is
fake.
It's
like an interview. You're like, it feels like
being interviewed.
You're being interviewed. Not
there's a lot of people do that where they just ask you a lot of questions instead of like actually being a human.
Yeah.
And it bothers me.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. On the Patreon, we're going to talk about this. Velma doesn't like. There's too many white people in it.
It was like, but I thought there's not even that many white people. It just upholds whiteness.
Yeah, send the testicle bath, birth control. The Boys Cast. Catch me in. You can catch me in Buffalo, Boston, Tampa, and Calgary. And thank you to everyone who subscribed to patreon.com/theboyscast.